Hey, what's up, everybody? Today's video is titled Why I Will Never Give Up. Why I Will Never Give Up. And I guess I'll just define really quick what giving up is. Um, Giving up could be giving up on life. That's not what I mean here. But it is sort of what I mean. But I don't mean killing myself, or as people are calling it now, unaliving myself. I don't mean that. Um, that's already a given. That's not going to happen. Um, what I mean as far as giving up is I think about like when you are trying to do something and then you just don't do it. What I mean, let me say that more clearly. You have a purpose and then you abandon that purpose. And then you just sort of resign yourself to going along with what's already here, going along with what life has prescribed for you, which in a sense, it sort of makes things a little bit easier, right, so to speak, because uh, you're not going against the grain. That's why. That's it, pretty much. You're not going against the grain. You've got other people who they're going to go along with whatever you're doing, even if they don't really care about it. But it's not challenging them. It's not going to challenge their worldview. It's not going to challenge your own worldview. It's not going to be a challenge for you, really. You may not like it, may not like the existence that you're in, but you just are going along with it. Well, that's where I was uh, not too many years ago. I would say, 5 years ago. That's where I was, where I was just like, this is what life is and what it's going to be, and might as well get used to it. And what I was thinking at that time was, I'm not going to achieve all my dreams. I'm not going to achieve all my goals. I'm not going to achieve much of anything that I want. So I might as well just fall in line with get a job and work that job for the rest of my life. And I was thinking, I'll probably be single for the rest of my life and be lonely and not really make much money, just be the same as everyone else. Essentially, being average. Being average to me is giving up. That's not what I want. I don't want to be average. I never wanted to be average. I've wanted for myself to be extraordinary. But really, what I wanted is to make an impact, to make an impact on this world. I wanted to live life what I would call on my terms, meaning get to actually enjoy life and help others to enjoy life as well. That's what I've wanted since I was a little kid, right? Um, and I came across some groups that inspired that within me as well. But then as I got older, I got to the point where I figured I don't know how to apply this information. I don't know how to do any of these things. I don't know how to actually reach the levels that I want to reach. And I was starting to uh, give up because I'm starting to give up because I tried so many different things. I came across a group that is an amazing group for uh, learning about how to actually apply yourself in business and grow and expand and be successful in this world, right? Uh, but I had been in that group for, I guess at that time, about 5 years, and hadn't seen much change in my life. And then I went and I moved to different places. I would get up and go on a whim. I would very easily go and uh, try a different job, try different business ventures, and none of them were very successful for me. I had a lot of challenges within all of them. Hey, what's up, Justin? And what eventually happened was I started to resign myself to it. This is what life is. I'm never going to reach those levels. I just don't have what it takes. It's not within me. Maybe if I were born in a different place or born to different parents or I had different circumstances, all those things, then maybe I could get the things that I want. But I wasn't even really making much headway at all. Things just were not changing or shifting. My life was relatively the same for as long as I'd been walking around. I'd become more positive. Don't get me wrong. I'd become more positive, and things seemed to bother me less. But deep down, at the root of it, at the core, of who I was, who I am, I just still felt at that point like it doesn't really matter. Um, nothing's going to fundamentally change. It's not going to be a big change. So anyway, what I ended up doing was, well, if you're on my Facebook, then you guys know. But if you're seeing this somewhere else, I got TechnoTutor. I talked to one of the co-founders, Cameron Cope, about TechnoTutor, and I was very skeptical because I was just like, I've just tried so many things. I don't think I can make it work. And it was just to use the product to change my programming. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Again, I was very skeptical about it, but I wanted to give like at least one more try. And I was willing to actually put in the work. And I saw if other people could get these results, and if I was willing to just put in the effort, it would be worth it for me. So I started doing that. So then what I ended up doing was I got TechnoTutor, started seeing little shifts within myself. And I was excited at first, but also, again, pretty skeptical because I was thinking, I don't know if this is just me getting excited or not. Like you just did something and you're like, yeah, I hope it's working, that kind of thing. And what ended up happening was I was working on specifically relationships because I did not have good relationships. I had poor relationships, and I wanted a good relationship. And so that was one of the first things that I put an effort towards. And again, slowly, I started to see some shifts, some changes. But it was a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. By a lot of work, what I mean is I had to be focused and consistent. And I had to face myself honestly, meaning it was challenging to really consider all the things that I had thought made me me, and start to sort of remove or challenge and really look at those things with an honest eye and see like, is this actually me? Does this actually make sense? And then change those things, right? And so what I did was change those things and challenge those things, and I continued to be consistent, and I took on that challenge. And anytime you're challenged in that way, it's difficult. That's what I mean to say. But it was not very complex. It was simple. It was simple to do. It is challenging. And so I knew I could do it because I like a challenge. And I knew that it was possible. And so I continued doing it. But at a certain point, when you're not getting the result that you want, you can feel frustrated, right? I was feeling frustrated when I was expecting things to happen overnight or instantaneously or whatever. And those would be moments where I would think, man, it would just be so much easier to give up. But because of the support system that I have through TechnoTutor specifically, and using TechnoTutor and all those things, I continued to press on. And in pressing on, what I started to see was my life changing in ways that I did not know it could change. Where I was feeling way better about my situation because I understood what was going on in my life and why I had created these circumstances, how I created these circumstances, and what to do about it. And then I was actually doing the thing, and things were actually changing. And that led to, wow, I feel way better, like way elevated moods, right? Not falsely elevated, but like actually like, oh, I'm not suppressed anymore. I'm not suppressing myself anymore. And then what that led to was eventually here where I'm at, I have a relationship that is amazing. It is so amazing. And it's one that I did not think that I could actually have. And I'll give you an example because I've been wanting to share this. I found someone from doing what it is that I set out to do as my purpose, which is creating a world that's best for all, becoming the best that I can possibly be, challenging my own beliefs, thoughts, and realigning them with what is best for me, what is best for all, what is best for this world, right? The world that I want to live in, which means I have to change quite a bit. Why? Why do I have to change? Because the way that I was raised, well, I was born into an environment, into a society that's not currently best for everyone, which means that that's the way I was programmed. That's the way that I was impulsed. That was the way that I learned. And so unconsciously within me is living out the principles of that environment, right? And so if I actually want to be and create a world that is best for all, if I actually want to be best and create a world that is best for all, that means I have to change quite a bit. I have to align myself with what are the principles of a world that is best for all, right? And so I set that as my purpose. And in doing that and being active within that, not just, oh, that's my purpose and then now I can go back to doing whatever I was doing. That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense even. It's not your purpose really. You're just saying words to yourself, but you're not actually doing anything fundamentally different. And so your purpose remains the same. So in setting that as my purpose and then doing the activities that align with that and challenging myself to do more and more of that, align myself more and more with that and less with the society that's not best, then that's how I found the relationship that I have. And there were challenges for me to achieve that because I had to change quite a bit, right? And Christine, who's my partner, is aligned with the same purpose that I have. It's amazing. And because of that, we make a really great partnership, a really great team. And we decided to start our relationship on a relationship agreement, agreeing to this is my purpose. And I am getting into this relationship to support you within that purpose. And she's getting into this relationship to support me within that purpose. And we're supporting each other. Well, within all of that, what that means is then we challenge each other and we're also able to support each other in more and more effective ways. And something that really happened, that really, hey, Kelsey, got distracted there. Something that really blew me away was the other day I was working on my TechnoTutor and programming myself for things that I want to change within myself. I was challenging those things within myself. And Christine had come down, and she waited for a moment when I wasn't busy, and she asked, "How can I support you?" And it was so cool because in that moment, I got to be open, vulnerable with what within me am I having a challenge facing? Where am I limiting myself? And when we were talking, I was just able to share those things openly. And she was supporting me with that. And when I say she was supporting me, what was really cool about it was she wasn't dismissing what I was saying. She wasn't emotional. She wasn't patronizing. She wasn't saying, "Oh, man up." She wasn't saying, "Oh, you can do anything. Oh, don't worry about that. Oh, you're great. You'll overcome it." She wasn't doing any of that stuff. She was actually hearing me, and we were having this conversation about like, okay, well, does that make sense? And how can we overcome that? And really coming together on these things and coming up with solutions and what is the best way that she can support me through whatever. And after she left, well, actually, at the end of that conversation, she also said, any time that you're feeling like weak or small, or because I had told her earlier, there was a specific point that I was working on that's how I felt. And she said, well, anytime you're feeling that way, I'm going to call it out, not in a mean way, right? Anytime I see you doing that, I'm not going to let you just continue doing that. I'm going to call it out so that we can change it. We can use our tools and what we have to actually change that. And I was like, that's cool. Yeah, I'm down for that. And what was the coolest thing about it to me was after she left, I had a moment to reflect, and I realized that when I was a kid, I was mostly supported to just man up, stop being a wuss, which comes from that's what my mom would say to me, right? And that's just what she knew at that time, right? Because she was a single mom, and so for her, she was trying to sort of emulate what a man or father in my life, that role that a father would take. But that's not exactly what I needed at that time. To me, at that time, it wasn't very supportive because it just made me feel like I wasn't a man, or I was inferior, or like I wasn't man enough. And it just made me feel like less than. It made me feel really uncomfortable inside. I would go do the things, but inside I'd feel like, again, just inferior, or like feeling like I'm not capable. I'm not enough, right? And so what I realized was this support that Christine was giving me was the support that I actually wanted as a kid, to just be heard and understood, and then supported in a way that, well, let me explain things to you. Well, okay, does that make sense? So I can come to these conclusions and actually understand more, and then, oh, now I know what to do. And not only that, but I was also realizing like, this is great to have in a partnership on my team for the rest of my life. I've got this in my corner as far as someone who's working alongside me, who's not going to let me falter, Whereas when you're by yourself, if you don't already have this program within you, it's very easy to just in moments doubt yourself or uh, not continue on to push further because you can't see it. But when you have someone in your corner, not just rooting for you, because that can be very empty, but actually breaking things down with you, like actually, oh, okay, here's like strategizing with you so that you can go out and actually have a plan of attack that works. And then on top of that, I realized it's also the support, the type of support that I want for my children, like actual understanding. And it's great because I didn't think that this was something that people actually had. Here she is demonstrating to me the type of support that she's going to be able to provide for our children. And that to me is just amazing because I can see within myself that's what I actually have always wanted for my kids. But I thought that other people just don't get that. They're not able to do that. It's just not possible. But it is. And how this ties into why I will never give up is because I'm considering how much I had to go through to get here. Like consciously aware, pushing myself, even knowing, hey, this is what I want to do, and still being like, oh, but it's so challenging, and wanting to give up at certain points, but being supported to keep pressing on and continuing to press on and not give up and go even harder, and realizing that, oh, because I didn't give up, I've gotten all the things that I actually want. It's funny, because I was just sharing this with Christine about how we saw one of my friends, and she was congratulating us on the engagement, and she said, "You made good on your promise," because several years ago, I'd promised her, or not promised her, but I told her, "Hey, um, you know, by the time I'm 30, I will have had, I'll be married, right?" And I said a few other things, but I have the relationship that I want. And it was funny because that friend would tease me and say, "Oh, well, you're 26 now. Oh, you're 28 now." And so, but this is actually what I wanted, is what I mean to say. I'm not saying I got everything I wanted because I changed what I wanted, because this is where I'm at, and like, oh, I'm settling for this. This is what I've been striving for, is what I mean to say. And I did have to change a lot to get it, but I got it, and it's worth it. It is so fucking worth it. It's so worth it. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. The kicker is that when I was talking with Cameron, he was sharing Technotutor with me, I was resistant to it. I felt uncomfortable about it, and I was resistant to it. And I'm sure I meant to make Cameron feel uncomfortable too, so that he would potentially leave me alone about it. But he persisted. He didn't give up on me. And even throughout, while I was facing challenges, he was there supporting me. And I was, again, uncomfortable facing certain challenges. And I would share that with him. But he didn't give up. Because he didn't give up, and he kept pressing on, now I get to live the life that I want. I get to have the things that I want. I'm reaping the benefits. I'm so fucking appreciative. I'm so fucking appreciative because I see the relationship that I have, versus the relationship that so many other people have, and versus what I would have had. Like, I know I would not have been able to get into a relationship like this on my own, because there were so many things that I had to change about myself, so many beliefs, so many ways that I thought about, oh, this is how the world works, this is how relationships work, this is how I work. They were just thoughts that I either was told, or I had formulated on my own, or what have you. But I've gotten now, from using technology, I understand reality way better. I understand myself way better. And I've learned so much about myself that I'm able to change so much that I was holding on to, that was keeping me away from the things that I wanted. And because, for one, because Cameron never gave up, and because I never gave up, now I have things that I want. And I'm not done. There's more that I want, right? There's more that makes sense, that I can see, that like, oh, okay, here's the next steps. And so I know it may not be easy. It's probably going to be very challenging, but I'm never going to give up. And then as far as like what I see for myself, I love this. I enjoy this so much. I want others to have this. I don't see a reason why others wouldn't want to have this, except that they think that they might not be able to get it, which is where I was at. But I know they can, if they just use the tools. They use the same tools that I have access to, with the support system that I have access to, which is now even greater. It's way better than it was when I started out, right? If I don't give up on them, that gives them the opportunity to have it as well. And then just continuing that cycle. If we all never give up, we can actually create a world that is best, where we all have the things that we actually deep down really want. And I'm just saying, like, really basic things, like we have the money that we need to survive, not just survive, but like live well, eat good foods, healthy foods, have a nice roof over our heads, have clean drinking water, be able to go out and like just enjoy your life, right? And also have amazing relationships. Amazing relationships. I cannot tell you how amazing my relationships are in this one short video. And it's not even that short. This video is like the video that never gives up, right? But the relationships that I've been able to foster now have been nothing short of amazing. They've supported me so much. I've gotten to enjoy them so much, but they actually make a difference in my life, not just emotionally, but physically. Because of these relationships, my life has changed drastically over the last 4 years in ways that I did not think were possible. And I'm so grateful for them. And so I have a purpose to create a world that is best for all. And that purpose can't happen as the way that we're going right now. The current, present, laptop's telling me I need to charge my laptop. But in the current way that we are going about doing things, our current society, our current automatic programming, we are not going to create a world that is best for all, which means that it's going to take actual effort to change that. You have to be like focused on it and aware of it, and not just expect it to happen automatically. That's not going to happen. Which means that we can't give up until that happens. Meaning I'm not going to give up until that happens. And if someone else says they don't want to do it, that's fine. That's on them, right? But that's not going to affect me, my decision, my purpose. If you want to be a part of creating a world that's best for all, or just living your best life, like seriously, like getting all the things that you want. And maybe if you've been having some challenges with that, or you just want a different perspective, reach out to me, send me a message, and let's chat. Let's talk about what's actually the things that you want and what are your challenges. And let's see if we can overcome them together. All right, that's it for this video. See you guys next time. Bye.